Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to Vignan Technologies. Let's understand how do we create a sample job. So in this particular example, I would like to show you how do we read the data from a TXT file and load this into a table which is residing in the SQL Server. So for this, we'll have to follow the following steps here. So create the project, create the BODS job, create workflow, create data flow, and create file format and the data store. So after creating all these things, we can use the file format as a source in the data flow and take the template table from the data store and then use that as a target. So these are the steps that we have to follow. So let's get back to remote desktop to follow these steps. So I have a sample file here called employees. So if I just open this particular file, so I have four employees present here. It is John, Nick, Raj, David. So we got total 5 columns and the data is present only for 3 columns, that is employee ID, name, salary. And there's no data present for location and the designation. So I have to read the data from this particular file and load this into SQL Server database. So here in the SQL Server, I have created a database called Vignan here. So if you look at here, there are no tables available. So I'll be using this particular database for all of the transformations and all of the target and staging stuff. So let's get back to the data services designer here. So let's create the project, which is the first step here. So to create the project, you can just go to the create project, which is appearing on the start page, or you can just go to the you can go to the local object library and right click on this one and just say create project here. So you can just give any sample name, any name for the project here. So what I would say is I would just say PRJ underscore Vignan. So let's click on create. So this will get created. So if you want to create the sample job, just right click on this one, just say new batch job. So this would be create. So you just rename it as a sample underscore JB. So the moment you create the sample job, you will be able to see something called as a workspace here. And next to workspace, you see a tool palette. So in the tool palette, you will be able to find the most frequently used objects such as data flow, workflow, query transform, template table, and the scripting icon, all the conditional workflows, the try catch block, and the annotations. So these can be used on a need basis so frequently. You can just drag and drop all these objects as per the requirement. So I just take the workflow now. I just keep the workflow over here. I will just rename the workflow as sample underscore workflow. So I just get inside the workflow here. Now I will drag the data flow here. Just look at this here. So I would just say sample underscore data flow. Now I'll get inside the data flow where I have to use source and target information here. So I have to create the connections to my source file here. So for that, I'll have to go to the local object library and then choose the flat file formats here because our source is txt file. So for txt file, you have to establish the connection using the flat files option. Just right click on this one, just click on new here, just give a sample name to the file format here. I would just say ff underscore employee, and I'll have to specify the path of this file. So this is residing on this particular path. I would just say this is a path name, and I will give the file here. So just click on the browse. So you'll be able to route it to the source directory here. You can just specify the file name here. The moment you specify the file name, you'll get to see the structure here. So by default, all the column names would be displayed as field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, etc. But these field names will be changed the moment you choose the first record as a header. So to choose the first record as a header, so you have to say skip row header option. The moment you specify the skip row header option, so this will be considering the first record as a header. So you see the proper structure now. This structure is editable, meaning so you can change the data type of the so and so column. You can increase or decrease the length of so and so column as per business requirement, and you can make any changes to this particular structure. So I would recommend you to follow the structure as per your source file, but this would get created automatically based on the sample data. So click on save and close. So your file format is created now. So now go to the data stores option to establish the connection to the databases. Click on new here. I would say ds underscore SQL DB. So which is my database here. This is of type a database. So this is of type SQL Server. So I will choose Microsoft as a database type here, and then I'll choose SQL Server on-premise. So you have multiple options over here, but the first four options are preferable for Azure Cloud Database. So meaning if your SQL Server is residing on the Azure Cloud, so you should be using any of those four options depending upon the variants. So in my case, SQL Server is residing on the on-premise. So I'll choose this option here. So I'll have to specify the server name. I will be just giving my server name over here, and I have to give the database name. So let's go to here and then just get the database name here, and then just paste the database name over here, and then enter the username and password and click on apply. So it means that this particular data store doesn't have any issues while creating it. Just click on apply. You see this is created successfully here. So now let's drag the file format here. Okay, and let's drag the database here, database table. This is a template table. I would just call this as a employees. Just connect these two objects. I'm not using any transformations over here. Just validate this particular connection here. So it has got no errors, and we have to execute the job. So you can execute the job by right clicking on this one, click on execute, or you can just select the job and then say there is an execute option. You can just execute the job over here. Just execute the job here. Just click on OK here. So now our job has got executed successfully. So if we go back to the SQL Server database and the database called Vignan and just refresh this particular database, so and go to the table section, you would be able to see a table called employees. So this particular table has been created by data services itself. So if I look at the data in this table, I should be able to see all the records present in the source. So if we look at this one, you can see all the four records which are present in the source. So this is how we create the sample job. So thanks for watching the video. Please continue to watch the rest of the videos.